I'm going to show you some of the exercises that I'm using to kind of get back into playing shape a little bit. These are 5 exercises that I have used in the past that have somehow changed the way I play. Okay, exercise number 1. I've seen this exercise actually quite a bit, and there's a reason why a lot of people like it. It's a very useful exercise. This is probably the very first exercise that I learned when I started playing guitar. I don't know what the name of it is. I'm just going to call it the 1, 2, 3, 4 exercise. All you're going to do is you're going to move chromatically, one finger at a time. You can actually start this per string if it's easier. Just kind of think of your technique. Go slow. I'm a big believer that speed is a byproduct of good technique. So I'll show you how it goes. It's very simple. First finger, 6th string, 1st fret. You just want to get clean notes. Then you can go up a fret. And you work your way up and down the neck and do that for each string. When you're feeling comfortable going up and down with 1, 2, 3, 4, pick a position. Start in first position. Etc. And then you go backwards. Move up a position and you work your way up and down, etc. So exercise number 2 is based off of exercise number 1. We're just going to switch up the order of the fingering. We're not going to go up and down the fretboard. We're just going to stay in a position, up the strings and then down the strings. Let's do 2, 4, 1, 3. 1, 3. And then in the same position, 2, 4, 1, 3, going down. So and then we would go up a position and do the same thing. I have to work a little bit getting my 3rd finger. It's being a little lazy. Anyways, you would do this up to the 12th fret and then you go back down. And after a few days of doing this, you're going to get pretty comfortable with it. And what I would recommend is every day pick just a different order. So here are all the possible combinations that you can do. Every day pick a new one. And then when you're done, do it again. Exercise number 3 came a little bit later when I started learning scales. And my problem, and still to this day when I learn a new scale, I tend to want to play the scale when I'm improvising. So a really good exercise is to start breaking down your scales and start moving in intervals. And so because this is exercise 3, we're going to move in thirds. I'm just going to take a G major scale. And instead of playing just the straight scale, I'm going to start to climb in thirds. So the first part of this exercise is climbing in thirds. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, etc. And all we're doing is starting to think outside of just playing the regular scale format. So if you can ascend the scale, make sure you practice descending as well. The next thing is you want to think of jumping thirds. So 1, 3, 2. And then back down. So once you're feeling comfortable moving in thirds, try other intervals. Move in fourths, move in fifths. On a side note, if you're interested in memorizing the fretboard, I wrote a book like 10 years ago. It's on Apple Books. It's called Fretboard Masterclass Volume 1. I never did a Volume 2, but it was something I used for my students back in the day. I'll have a link below if you're interested on memorizing the neck, doing all these different exercises, because the next exercises are kind of based off of what that book teaches. It's free. Download it. Play around with it. Let me know what you think. This exercise is designed to help you memorize all the notes of the fretboard, and this seems very daunting. It's actually not that bad. I mean, it is, but Once you learn it, it'll probably become one of the most useful exercises that you will do on the guitar, and just play really efficiently. And it helps with learning scales and shapes. So if that's something that you really want to do with the guitar, this is a great exercise. So the way the 2-minute drill starts out, we're not going to do any timing at first because there's a bit of a lead up to this. The first thing you got to do is name all the notes going up and down the fretboard from 0 to 12. And you start off just chromatic. And you start on the 6th string. Going up you name sharps, going down you name flats, and you say it out loud. So E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. Then you go backwards naming flats. E, E flat, D, D flat, C, B, B flat, A flat, G, G flat, F, E. All right? Every day pick a string, maybe 2 strings. Next day, do the A string. If you're starting on A, then it's going to be A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, etc. Once you're comfortable with that, and you can do that on all the strings, then we're going to name the diatonic notes. Notice that E and F and B and C, there is no semitone in between. They are a semitone apart. Everything else has a semitone. So that's something to think of when you're naming these notes. A, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. And then E, D, C, B, A, G, F, E. Cool. Do that for all the strings. So if you can name chromatically up and down, diatonically up and down on all the strings and you're feeling comfortable, this might take you a while. We're going to do the same thing now, but we're going to work through the circle of fourths. If you don't know what the circle of fourths are, it's just a pattern in which music tends to move through all 12 tones. So you can go through a circle of fourths, you can go through a circle of fifths. It's just very convenient and musical, and we like to use it. In this case, I'm using the circle of fourths. So you start with C. C's the first one. 4 notes up from that diatonically is F. B flat is 4 from that. E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B, E, here's an octave there, A, D, and then G. And if you can do the circle of fourths on each string and you're feeling pretty comfortable, then we're ready for the 2-minute drill. You finally made it to this point, and this is kind of grueling. What you're going to do is go through all 12 tones on each string in 2 minutes. So you'd go down naming C, go up naming F, go down naming B flat, going up naming E flat, etc. So you're going to work through. So it'd be like C, then F, and then B flat going down. E flat going up. A flat, D flat, etc. You go through all the circle of fourths. Here's the circle of fourths, and I will have everything in the description. So if you want to see what the circle of fourths is, I'll have in the description and a link to more material. Again, if you want the book, check out the link. There's also audio demos in the book, so it's a multimedia book. So the 5th exercise is playing the major scales in one position going through the circle of fourths. If you don't know scales yet, that's okay. This is kind of a little bit more of an advanced exercise. I would encourage you to learn these scale shapes. Check out the link below, check out the book. All the forms are there, all the root notes are there, all the scales are there, and then you can apply these techniques. It's interesting how this whole video has become like a pitch for this book that I totally forgot about until like 30 minutes ago. Let's try it. Let me show you. Let me show you how this works. Because this will apply then once you do the scales. You can do arpeggios, you can do minor scales, all within a position. It just kind of helps you really think of where your hand is. So, we're going to take 3rd position, and we're going to start with the key of C. So I know C's right there. I can play the major scale. If you want to get fancy, you can do all of the scale in that position. And on the root. And now we're going to go to F, which is, that's the root picture I can see. B flat. A flat. Then you do D flat, G flat, B, E, A, D, G, C. All in that position. And then every day you pick a new position and you just work through it that way. And then you can get really fancy with doing it with arpeggios. You can start doing it where you're switching major to minor. So anyways, I hope these exercises are helpful. I really recommend you try them out. This is stuff that I'm going to start working into my daily routine with guitar just to kind of build up speed because, yeah, I can really feel the lack of practice. So I'm really excited to get back into it. Anyways, I hope this helps. Thank you very much. If you have any questions or you see anything that you want me to try out, if you want me to do more of this stuff, please let me know. Leave a comment. I'm happy to help.